Hi everybody, we're back at Gen Con 2018 and I have stopped off at one of my favourite stands. We are here with Stu from Warcradle and Wild West Exodus. Stu, it's good to see you, mate. How have you been?
Good to see you. No, I've been really well, Justin. It's a pleasure to be here in sunny Indianapolis again.
Yeah, and how has the show went for you? Bigfoot traffic, I'm guessing?
Oh yeah, fantastic. This is, for us, it's really exciting because Wild West Exodus 2nd edition came out in September of last year. So when we were at Gen Con, we were right at the point of being able to launch the whole thing. But the game wasn't out, so we had lots of people looking at stuff, getting really excited, but they couldn't buy anything.
Yeah.
Now we've got the whole range here, so people are coming in, they remember us from last year, and the stuff's flying off the shelves, so it's been a really good show.
Yeah, although I remember last year you guys got set up in like the events hall, and then this year you've moved on into the retailers hall. Was that a deliberate choice on your guys' part? Because I thought being out in that events hall was a really good idea.
Yeah, we liked being out there. It was a great way to showcase the range, but Gen Con is still a business. It's still structured in certain ways, and there are certain expectations that people have.
Okay.
So in order for us to then actually get the product out to people, we've come in here into the main exhibitors hall, and and people are. It seems to be working.
Awesome. All right, now the big question, as always, what is new and shiny for Wild West Exodus?
Well, so the game came out in September of last year, and since then we've been releasing about 4 or 5 new releases every month.
Yep.
So there's been a whole bunch of stuff since then, and right now we're showcasing, in the cabinets behind us, we're showcasing our releases up until the end of this year. So really only another 4 months worth of releases.
Ah, I see. Okay, so let's start working through them. So what are we seeing here?
Okay, so on the left there you've got Discordant Symphony, which is Thomas Edison's posse. So it's all about sonic weapons, but more importantly for the Enlightened, which is what the faction are for, what it gives you a boss with this, the phonic weapons. Not only do they stun people and knock people down, but they enable you to position the enemy models that you've knocked about, you've buffeted with your sonic waves, which means he's really good to support other bosses and to kind of give you positional stuff. So what you can do is you can use Edison's posse to kind of smash down particularly nasty adversaries, and then you can move on to, and as we move around to the right to Dixie Resurrection or something like that, you move around to another Enlightened boss where she's got some tools at her disposal for kind of being a more obvious run forward and rip your face off kind of stuff. So he kind of sets them up and stuns them and softens them, and then she can come in with the heavier crunchy creations and constructs to get the job done.
I see.
Yeah, so that's Annabelle Hamilton with Dixie Resurrection. They actually came out this month, so they're on the stand for the first time in the public here. Again, another Enlightened boss. Fantastic mix of characters. They also have ties to the Confederacy, which means they work with outlaws really well. So,
nice.
and then finally, you have the Galvanic Mysteries, which is Countess Byron and all of her kind of reanimated Frankenstein-style constructs and creations that she's assembled there. Again, another she's a really popular boss, and now she's got a box set coming out with brand new miniatures in it. We're sure that's going to be very popular.
Very cool, very cool. And then next cabinet across, what are we seeing here?
Okay, here we've got Infernal Investigations. The Infernal Investigations are like the special investigative arm of the Lawmen. They're kind of an eclectic bunch that kind of don't really work very well in the normal structures of law and order. But when they're working together, they're a really interesting team with lots of special equipment and skills. Helena Miller is the boss with the jetpack, as you can see her. Then you've got other people like Jedrick Powell, who's the kind of a gritty and rugged right-hand guy. The robotic horse standing on his hind legs is 2020. And actually, later on, there'll be a miniature coming out. If you look to the right of the posse, there's a legendary version, which is 2020 transformed into horse mode with Jedrick Powell riding on the back of it. So that's
very cool.
Yeah, that's going to be, again, we think that's going to be something popular in the coming months. And Infernal Investigations, it's the first time it's been available here at the show.
Oh, lovely. I'm also seeing the Ranger Showboat. These are some gorgeous, gorgeous miniatures.
Yeah, there's 2 things there. So the Ranger Showboat, which is Wild Bill Hickok, you've got Calamity Jane next to him, and a whole bunch of other Ranger characters on the top for the Lawmen. But actually what they're all standing on is the Saloon, which is a brand new terrain piece we have coming out. It's Wild West. People have been asking about a saloon, which is an iconic building for the Wild West.
Oh, yeah.
And we're really happy that we've been able to not only do it, but do it a kind of a fairly unique one, because there's a lot of saloons out there. It's a fairly obvious thing to make for the Wild West. And what we've done is we've made sure it's a Wild West Exodus saloon. So you've got the signage on the side, you've got all that masses of detail that the likes of the guys in the studio, overseen by Roberto, have really done a great job. And there's also a little feature on there which I can probably get it out of the cabinet if you would like me to.
Ooh, if you're brave enough to open the cabinet on the show floor, I am not going to say no, Stu. What have we got?
What we can also show you, I'll turn her around.
Gently now.
It's all right, we're okay.
Oh, that's lovely.
So not only do you have the rear of it, but you also have, so on the balcony, there's a piece of the balcony that comes away. We have another release coming out in a few months' time, which is a cat house, a brothel.
Yes.
And the idea is that it's a mirror of the saloon. And so what you can do is you can attach that, so its staircase runs down on the left-hand side of the building, or the right-hand side, depending on which you face. It's on the right here, which means that with this piece missing, the two can bridge across. So essentially you can have patrons of the saloon finishing whatever they're doing in the saloon, having a gamble, having a rest, and then they come across the landing and they have a good time that evening.
The cat house is there.
Yeah, and it makes, from a tabletop point of view, it just makes this really fantastic centerpiece on the table. You know, people are really going to get a focal point for their games. We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that sounds like a really nice narrative touch to add to your Wild West Exodus tables, to actually just have that little bit of a story on your table as you're playing through your games is very, very cool. Now, Stu, the other thing that I am still very excited about is what's happening with Dystopian Wars. So if we go around here, what have we got in the cabinet this time?
Okay, so previously at other shows around the world, we've shown off the Crown and the Latin Alliance fleets. For Gen Con, we wanted to have something special just for the Americans over here. We brought the Prussians. So this is the first time the Prussian Imperium has been seen out in the flesh, or in the resin, as it were. So you've got Battle Group Elector, and again, this is showcasing a lot of the features that you would have seen in the other fleets we've been showing off. So the turrets are removable. You can swap the heavy gun batteries with heavy rocket batteries, or in this case with Tesla cannons. So that's a common feature for all of the fleets. They have that modularity. But the Prussians take it one stage further, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the front off the cabinet and show you here as well.
I love when you do this. So what are we going to be looking at here?
So the Prussians are even more modular. So not only, so if I show you on the cruisers, you can see there are train tracks on the bottom. So the idea is that the bridge and even the guns themselves are on rails, so that actually when this thing was in a dock, the munitions and things could be removed from the train, removed from it by trains, and then new weapon systems or cargo or whatever else could be loaded on. So the Prussians like the idea of build the hull once and then have it as modular as possible depending on what the needs are. But what that allows us to do in terms of, and obviously as a player you can just glue this down if you wanted to, or you can keep it modular, it's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
What this lets us do though with the frigates have got again like shutters and little things there, and you should even be able to see on the top, even the main gun is on a rail line.
Yep.
But what it lets us do with the battleship is to take that concept one stage further. So not only the turret on the rear would be removable, and you would be able to replace that with a different type of weapon system. The trains themselves are actually on there because not only does the Elector is the focal point of the battle group, but obviously it's fine having the idea of using trains and being able to move gun carriages and things. But what happens if you get to a port that doesn't have sufficient engines to be able to do that? Then
bring your own.
So you bring your own. So there are trains on board to help with just that purpose. It also has, again, the idea is the bridge, the model doesn't physically move, but it's been designed. You can see there's like a scissor mechanism under the bridge. So the idea is that the bridge would actually lift up, which would allow the gun carriage at the front to be drawn underneath. Because actually, if your mission ahead as a player was that you needed to do a coastal assault, or you needed to attack a refinery, you might want to actually have the ship up armed with a bombardment cannon rather than with normal deck guns. So rather than the Elector kind of charging forward at the spear tip, instead you might have the Elector holding back. You might replace your weapons to the rear with maybe a heavy rocket battery to keep the pesky flyers away from you, and then using the bombardment cannon to hammer the shoreline or hammer the sea fort or whatever it is that you're attacking. Same models, whereas before, with previous editions of Dystopian Wars, you might have had four or five different classes of ships in order to do that. With third edition of Dystopian Wars, and with particularly the Prussians, that modularity is built into the ships themselves, and as a player you'll get all the bits and you'll be able to build them each time you play. You can build it in a different way, and really your tactics aren't limited by the models in your collection.
I am totally digging the idea. This is a game that I am literally chomping at the bit to get the guys across and actually get a few games under camera, because it's a game that whenever it was originally out, I started playing, I really had a lot of fun with, and I can't wait to drop back into it and actually start having fun with it again. Anything else new?
Well, yeah, so we've got we have the Dystopian Wars. It's been a good opportunity. There's been a lot of the community have been coming in and saying, when's Dystopian Wars happening, what's going on? And so I've been able to slip out a few little nuggets of information as to what they can expect from the game. Yes, it uses six-sided dice, but how the game plays a little bit, how the range bands work. Some stuff that people get really excited about, some stuff that is really for the die-hard guys. But a common thing that people have been saying is, oh, I love Dystopian Wars, but my friends won't play because it's too complicated. But there's no interest locally because people don't seem to understand how it works, or they can't get the models anymore. So obviously we're going to address all of those issues going forward into third edition. We want it to be something that, yes, it needs to have that kind of, it needs to feel like a naval game. It needs to have lots of strategic depth to it, but you can't need to get out a piece of paper and a pencil and be doing all your math every time you're trying to work. Yeah, that's no good. So we're working on that.
Okay, awesome. Well, Stu, it's always a pleasure to see you at Shows Mate. Now, question time. End of the video question time. Would you like to give away a prize for everybody?
We would love to give. Justin.
I know.
Giving prizes away.
What would you like to give away then?
So, it seems only right. We've got Dixie Resurrection and we've got Infernal Investigations out, which are our brand new releases at the show. So we would like to give to lucky Beasts of War fans a starter set for each of those, and both of those will come with the exclusive show miniature that we have on the stand.
Okay, wow. Stu, thank you very much, buddy. So, guys, if you want to be one of those 2 lucky winners, you said?
2 lucky winners.
Get your comments in on this segment of the live blog. We will move on and we will see you again very soon.